Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Steenhoek, with respect to your testimony regarding the soybean industry's self-funded study about the benefits of 97,000-pound single-axle trucks, I don't doubt that these heavier trucks would benefit your members, but at what cost to the public is my question. U.S. Department of Transportation studied this issue over the past 3 years and just issued a report where the department could not justify the very trucks you're asking us to approve. While there wasn't enough data to come up with national crash rates, they found shockingly higher crash rates as well as more brake problems in the 2 states that they studied that have these trucks today. In Idaho, for example, the crash rates were 99% higher for these trucks, and in Michigan, the crash rates for these trucks were 400% higher. They also found over $2 billion in additional bridge costs, and that cost doesn't even include the vast network of local roads across the country. Now, in light of this evidence, would you really suggest that we bypass safety and bridge infrastructure to encourage the spread of these heavier trucks?
Congressman, thank you for the question. And I think it's important to underscore that when I had a discussion with my board of directors, and these are soybean farmers from throughout the United States, and we were discussing whether or not to even visit this issue, one of the common comments from my farmer directors was, the last thing we want to promote is something that's going to endanger ourselves, our kids, and our grandkids. The reality is, when you live in a rural state, your probability of encountering a semi traveling at a high rate of speed is exponentially greater than those who live in urban America. So that's the last thing that we would want to do. So we took an approach of, let's not come to this with a conclusion in search of evidence. Let's let the data speak to us. And you cited the DOT comprehensive size and truck study that was just recently, some of the data that was just released. Yes, the Department of Transportation did not, they said we need more information, we need more data in order to make a prescriptive statement. But when you actually look through the statistics, I found that to be quite compelling in favor of expanding semi-weight limits to a 6-axle 97,000-pound configuration. One of the things
you did, but the United States Department of Transportation didn't.
I'm sorry?
The U.S. DOT didn't find enough evidence to say that they could recommend that.
Right. They stated they needed more data in order to make a prescriptive statement, in order to make some kind of recommendation, yes. So, but what meant more to me was actually saying, well, what does the data in the report say on these key performance indicators, these things that matter most to us, motor safety being number one. Number two is infrastructure wear and tear. And number three, what kind of cost savings and efficiency?
How about the crash test results in Idaho and Michigan that were 99%, the 2 states they did study that were 99% higher, and in Michigan over 400% higher? How would you relate to those?
Well, I mean, I guess we can start arguing over which data you're using, which data I'm using. The data that I've repeatedly seen for over years is that motor safety is more a function of the number of semis, less a function of the weight of individual semis. And when you have that additional axle, you provide additional braking friction so that stopping distances are comparable to an 80,000 5-axle configuration. But I think this whole issue of
however, the extra axle wouldn't matter on a structurally deficient bridge, though. You could have 10 axles.
And I think, and I appreciate you making that comment, because I think to have an intellectually honest discussion about this, and we highlight this in our report and in our marketing materials, is that the issue of bridges, that's the most important. I mean, there's widespread acknowledgement that with that additional axle, you're reducing the imprint on the road. If you're comparing the 6-axle 97 to an 5-axle 80, it's about 35 pounds less on a road. Bridges, they don't really care about the number of axles. They just care about the aggregate weight that they're compelled to support. And so we think that if we were to proceed with this, proposal, if it were ever to be instituted, a component of that should be for those who are electing to load heavier, there should be a fee associated with that, so that, and the money of which be used for our bridges. I think one of the benefits is that this is not a hypothetical. You're citing examples. I can cite examples as well. This is not a hypothetical exercise. This is something that we see a lot of states. They have higher weight limits in their individual states. Some states they have grandfathered in prior to weight limits being frozen at that 80,000 pounds. So, and we can look at other countries and we can point to see, is it actually working or not? We think the evidence is compelling in support of it.
Mr. Fox, would you be concerned about possible increases in the truck size and weight, knowing that they have never studied the impact on our local roads and bridges?
Congressman, thank you for the question. Yes, we are concerned, and our biggest concern is the point you made about the bridges. That's the very biggest point. As a county in Renville County, we do have about 10 miles of roads that we do allow in the wintertime, 97,000. But on those 10 miles of roads, there are no bridges, and that is for the sugar beet industry to move product. But it is a concern, especially on the bridges and especially as you get further out from the main roads. That's really where the problem comes, because a farmer wants to fill his truck when he leaves the field, and he might have to drive on a township road, which is gravel, before he even gets to a main artery. So it is a concern.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.